All right, so I have just recently purchased a DJI Mini 2 drone. And a little shout out to Sailing La Vagabonde. I saw a little commercial on their blog or their channel, and they talked about this DJI Mini 2. And so I went and took a look at it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and buy a drone. It's not terribly expensive, but man, I tell you what, I have just recently bought it about a month ago, and I've flown it now for about a month, not a ton, but I've crashed it 3 times over the water. And each time it has recovered itself. I've got footage that I'm gonna show you. But for anybody that's out there that's looking to buy a drone, and this isn't a sponsored video, this is just me saying, wow, this little thing's tough. My experience so far has been a positive one. It's not saying that other people aren't going to have a positive experience, but mine has been a positive. So, 2 things. DJI Mini 2, thank you guys for building a hell of a drone. Sailing La Vagabonde, thank you guys for bringing it to my attention. It's fantastic. And for anybody that wants to go buy a brand new drone, I highly recommend this one. So I'm going to show you a couple of events that have taken place while flying it, and you can make up your mind at that point if it's something that you want. But things were intense, touch and go for me a couple of times, and that little sucker has done a fantastic job. And also, just one more thing, the quality of the video is unbelievable. I mean, I'm just thoroughly impressed at the stability of everything and how it handles itself. So check this out, we'll be back. All right, so the very first time that I flew the drone and crashed it, I was fishing offshore at a little rig with a buddy of mine, with some buddies of mine. And I was flying it around, acting all fancy, and I flew in between a rig, and I came back through the rig. And I flew over, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then as I got away from the shot, and I turned it around, I said, this will be cool. Let me fly over the boat, and then I'm gonna have my little buddy cast as I fly over. So as I was flying the drone over and it gets close, it's like, okay, buddy, now cast. Well, sure enough, he hits the drone, bip, right there, and shakes it. And it caught itself and didn't go down. I would have imagined, or I would have thought that had anything hit any of those propellers into the drink, would the drone have gone? Well, it didn't. It salvaged itself. So I brought it back in, landed it down, and looked at my buddy, said, hey, no worries. So the second time that I should have put the drone into the drink, I was flying out of a shed and over some water. Well, I did that and turned it around, and then I rotated the drone and came back. Well, the connection wasn't that good because the shed I was in was tin, and it moved to the right, and then when I brought it in a little too fast, and bip, it ran right into the wall. It should have fallen straight down into the bayou, but it didn't. So I ran outside as fast as I could, and as soon as I got outside, there it was. It was on the blink, but it was still handling itself pretty well. So I brought it back to land, landed it, and was like, holy cow. I grabbed the little camera, turned the little camera, made sure everything was good, picked it up, flew it up, and it took off just fine. So I ended up shooting some more shots, and it looked perfect. The last time was just yesterday. We were pulling a trawl, which is shrimping. You're pulling a net to catch a bunch of shrimp on the bottom, and it was windy. It was about 25-mile-an-hour winds, and I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I was just getting a little bit more confident or a little more cocky than I should have been. I shouldn't have been this cocky, especially being such a novice. But that's the beautiful thing about the DJI Mini 2, is that you can be a novice and be able to fly it, and it's going to make you feel like you know what you're doing when you really probably don't, unless you're a lot more talented than myself. So I picked it up, flew around, tried to get some cool shots. The wind wasn't cooperating, so I said, all right, let me go ahead and land it. So as I'm bringing it down to land it, I tried to put it on the top of our tarp on this little boat. Well, bip, it hit the side, I hit it, fell down, and it didn't go into the drink, and I salvaged it that time. But that time, it did when it hit and it didn't continue flying, it went down. So it's the 3 times now that I've crashed the drone, or should have crashed the drone. At the end of the day, I would like to just tip my hat to DJI for making such a fantastic drone. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Oh, and by the way, if you like this video, do me a favor. Click the like button. It's going to help me out. I'd appreciate it. Later.